So, fun fact, in 2019, less than 1% of the US federal budget went to foreign aid. In fact, every year from 1980 up to today, the US has given less than 0.25% of their budget to foreign aid, which is similar to the UK's contribution. Additionally, the United Nations target is 0.7% of the annual GDP. There is this big misconception by Westerners that the US is shipping all taxpayers' money abroad to developing countries, thereby ignoring domestic problems. But the US have opted to funnel more money into the military. In 2015, they spent 54% of their annual budget on the military and only 6% on veteran benefits. But this is not what the video is about. I just wanted to debunk the idea that Western countries are spending all this money on foreign aid right from the start. However, that does not take away from the fact that 0.25% of the US GDP is literally billions. Billions of dollars. We're talking about $1 trillion economy, and ultimately it is still a lot of money for developing countries to receive. Welcome to Afro-Political TV. Let's get into the video. So I just wanted to take a quick 20 seconds to say hello to all my new subscribers and thank you for clicking the subscribe button. Some of you may be thinking you only have 13 subscribers, and trust me, I know, I'm proud, but please join the family. I upload content regarding African politics and social stories every single Saturday. Foreign aid is the international transfer of capital, goods or services from a country or international organization for the benefit of the recipient country or its population. For example, Feed the Future is an American initiative which focuses on ending global hunger and developing food security. They invest in countries by educating their citizens and teaching them to be self-reliant. So this is foreign aid as a service. One of their target countries for this program is Ethiopia. And just because we love to learn here on Afro-Political, I've got another example. So Botswana was one of America's highest paid recipients of aid, as they rejected the notion of apartheid, which was taking place in South Africa. So they were receiving capital as foreign aid. So you can see how aid varies from country to country. Some countries really benefit from foreign aid, and this can be seen in Ethiopia. It is reported that in 2000, Ethiopia was the third poorest country in the world. In 2001, Ethiopia became a part of a debt reduction program that was funded by the IMF. It was called the HIPC program. Now, supposedly, because less of Ethiopia's money was going to debt reduction, they were able to invest in programs to stabilize their country. Countries can benefit in many other ways from aid, such as being able to properly gain advantages from their natural resources, like Botswana and their diamonds. They can develop their healthcare system, like Rwanda, which has the best healthcare in all of Africa. But most of all, aid can be used to protect citizens in times of war, like the French did in Biafra during the Nigerian Civil War. Where aid does not work is when there is no structure applied to it and when it is used as a ploy to gain rather than solely an act of giving. The whole idea with foreign aid is supposed to be just that, help from other nations. It is supposed to be a means to self-reliance for countries in need. But it just hasn't happened that way, which is why some countries have received billions of dollars and have had initiatives in their country over decades, but still struggle to develop into an emerging economy. First and foremost, just the notion and receipt of foreign aid creates dependency, which develops to an unhealthy relationship. Now, I've spoken about a particular alliance on this channel before and how it has the potential to be disastrous, and I believe foreign aid in some countries has proved that. So let's take a look at some LEDCs, which is just an acronym for less economically developed countries. As a result of this status or label, countries such as Burundi and the DRC are likely candidates for foreign aid. And by the way, I'll be doing a whole video about Burundi next week and their difficulties with development. But foreign aid does not always produce the intended result. So countries that rely on foreign aid run the risk of being subject to external influences when it comes to economic and political decisions. So Burundi right now is on the brink of becoming a failed state. And up until 2016, the EU's aid contribution amounted to half of Burundi's annual budget, which is crazy. And 58% of their healthcare system was reliant on donors. The aid stopped because the EU believed that the president was not actively trying to solve the conflict. So this is where foreign aid becomes tricky. Foreign aid is given so long as a nation's leader behaves a certain way and maintains peace. But when peace is no longer maintained, donors pull out, which leaves citizens in danger and isolated. Using foreign aid as a means to control rather than produce self-reliant states can only backfire in certain dictatorships. This is reflected in Rwanda when, because there has been a decrease in the amount of people that pay taxes, Rwanda is heavily reliant on foreign donors. However, in 2018, Rwanda was suspended for 60 days from benefiting from AGOA's duty-free textiles exportation sector because they placed a ban on US imports of used clothing. So using aid as a power tool means developing countries have consequences when implementing policies that they feel can develop their country. And these consequences are not derivative of the policy itself, rather those that the policy affects. Since 1999, the DRC has received approximately $50 billion in foreign aid. Yet, despite assistance in conducting state elections, the DRC have been unable to elect a candidate who is qualified to fulfill the leadership role. Today, the country is war-torn and unfortunately has been dubbed the rape capital of the world as they use it as a weapon in war. We see no evidence of money being put to good use. Sometimes help just doesn't get past the front door because aid easily falls into some form of a direct debit. There's no accountability, so there's no urgency to use the money for the development of infrastructure because they know they will receive more money when the time comes. Where aid seems to work is when there is a structured program with an eligibility criteria and achievable goals. Burundi has kicked out the UN from its country and in 2017 announced that citizens would be paying for the general election, and this is the poorest country in the world. Burundi actually needs the help, but instability scares away donors, and because of this, you have to take the next best thing. Burundi has an untapped nickel industry. Nickel is normally used to make stainless steel. Now, because of their situation, 50% of their nickel industry is owned by a British company. If countries can't get aid without ulterior motives, they have to settle for capital, which basically ends up where aid donations do, in the hands of the few and not in hands of the citizens who need it. So that's the end of today's video. Do you agree that foreign aid in Africa can't be effective without structure, or do you disagree? Let's have a conversation because I notice people are watching but they're not commenting, and I really want to see what you guys think. Also, if you like this content, join me on Facebook and Instagram, same name, Afropolitical TV. I post short videos every day about current affairs in Africa, and I'll put the link to both of those in the description box. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video next week.